Welcome to Intentional Excellence Elevate Your Life, the podcast where we dive deep into the heart of what it means to live with purpose, rise with passion, and lead with excellence. I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero. I'm a keynote speaker, I'm an educator, founder of Novara Global Education Consulting. I'm an honored member of two speakers, international speakers bureaus, the proud host of this very podcast, Intentional Excellence, as well as Love Speaks live show. With 30 years in global education, two master's degrees, and a mission to empower others, I've shifted my path to walk boldly into a life that feels aligned with my truth. And today, I invite you to do the same. Today, we are featuring another episode in our powerful series, Burned, Not Broken, Struggles Faced, Strength Found. This series was born from a place of pain, perseverance, and passion. It's for that person who's walked through fire and wondered if she'd ever find herself again. It's for the soul who has endured loss, hardship, transition, and yet somehow still rises. And I couldn't think of a better guest to have on this journey with us today than the incredible Louise Dicks. Let me introduce her to you. So, Louise Dix is the founder of Galena Wellbeing. It's a heart-led brand built on compassion, resilience, and lived experience. She has been having that business for 32 years and 24 years in the wellness space. Louise brings deep, real life wisdom to her work as a counselor, well being mentor, and qualified heart healing practitioner. Her journey has been shaped by navigating some of the life's toughest terrain, like burnout, trauma, emotional overwhelm, and the devastating loss of her daughter, Ella. That chapter changed everything. It cracked her open, stripped life back to its rawest form, and showed her the power of rebuilding from within. Now, through her unique connect, activate, reflect, energize method, or she calls it care method, she helps purpose driven women and professionals reconnect with their authentic self, reclaim their inner power, and create lives that feel grounded. This isn't surface level self care. Louise works goes deep, supporting those who've worn the mask for too long, who are tired of carrying it all, and who are ready to feel alive again. Well, my followers, my viewers, help me welcome Louise Dix to my show. Hi, Louise. How are you?
Hi, Candice. Nice to meet you. And thanks for the
It
intro. That was really lovely.
I love really explaining to everyone who my guest is going to be because it just gives them like a brief overview of what this podcast is all about. And that's also the reason why you're here. I really look at everyone's bio and life story because I know that every person that I put in front of this podcast will shed light and and share their positivity, pain, and hopefully inspire others. So I'm glad. Is there anything that I forgot to mention about
No,
you,
you
Louise,
did a
that you
really
want to talk
great
about?
intro into, Galena Wellbeing. Not all my
Yeah.
story yet, but I know we're bringing that into the
Yes.
chat today.
Yes, we are, definitely are. So this is global. My podcast has been reaching not just America, but all over the world. So I'm
Amazing.
podcasting from Florida, United States. Where are you podcasting
I'm in
from?
the UK, so near Bath in United Kingdom.
All right. And how's the weather? What's the season now in UK?
Well, we're coming up to summer.
Okay, same.
Um, it's a bit rainy today. It was nice yesterday, but yeah, a
Uh-huh.
bit overcast today. What about you?
Right now, well, I'm in Florida. As you all know, Florida is the sunshine state.
Yeah.
But it's not always sunshine. Usually, summer, it's hurricane season.
Oh, golly.
So it's like you think it's summer. People come to travel to Orlando where the Disney is, but
Yeah.
they end up like it rains. It
Yeah.
rains a lot in the summer here. So, it's a hit and miss when you go to Florida during the summer. But like what you said, like what I said, beaches are everywhere, Louise. I can go to a brand new beach every day.
Oh, I love the
A new
sea.
beach every day and a new like spring spark. It's just beautiful. There's just so
Yeah,
many
it is.
places to go here. So summer is
Amazing.
the thing. Summer is the thing. Well,
Yeah.
I would love to visit UK one of these days.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
come.
I've been featuring a lot of guests from UK, and I love, 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 love the people that I feature from UK. There's
Oh,
just some genuineness in all of you.
that's nice to
All
hear.
right, so let's start.
Okay.
Louise, your journey is deeply rooted in professional expertise,
Yeah.
but also in profound personal experience, including the heartbreaking loss of your daughter Ella. Now, Louise, can you share how that life altering chapter shaped who you are today, both personally and professionally? And if you can, not everybody is able to do it. Maybe share with us what happened.
Yeah. So I've
Yes.
been in corporate. So I've done lots of professional leadership
Okay.
roles. Um, I retrained as a life coach, and I thought when Ella came along, I'd work part time, be
Okay.
mummy. But when Ella was born, it was quite touch and go from the start.
Okay.
And then we found out she had a non-hereditary genetic disorder, which
At
was
what
terminal.
age? At what age? Like
Well, when she was born,
when
about
she was born. Okay.
7 weeks, we didn't know
Okay.
she was hereditary. Well, pregnancy was all fine, bit of emergency C-section. Then about 7 weeks, she started to have seizures. So we were blue lighted in an ambulance to the hospital. And that's where things were slightly off. So they had to give her a lot of phenobarbital medication to keep her alive. And then they did some genetic testing. One of her ears was slightly lower. So
Okay.
and then 7 weeks later, I think it was probably about 11 weeks, and they told us she had a rare genetic disorder, woman
Okay.
36, a part of her chromosome 1 was missing.
Right. Right.
But we were told there and then in the medical room that it was life limited. So they didn't know how long she could live for. But she went on for 11 years. But I tell you, Candice, it was
Where she
life
survived
changing.
for 11 years.
Yeah. So
Even
she
she was
was,
told that she was not gonna make it.
yeah. So bless her. She had, we did everything for her. So we had to give up our jobs because she needed 24/7 round the clock care. She was on life support 4 times. Every time we were saying goodbye, she'd bounce back. So
Oh
it was
my
like
God.
that. But she was peg fed, gastrostomy through her tummy, really bad seizures. She needed everything doing for her, but we had such a beautiful bond. And during that journey, she showed me what it's like to be resilient, and she gave me hope. And she, I thought, right, I'm going to give her the best life possible for however long she was here. So she was here for 11 years, and it was a roller coaster. Our home was the hospital set
Yes.
it's our second home.
Yeah.
But through it, we bonded as a family deeper. I have got another little daughter as well, and we had beautiful times. She loved being by the sea when we weren't in hospital. Um, so we give her the best life possible. So when she passed in my arms at the hospice, I had no regrets, because although we had to give everything else up, it was my life's purpose at that time to give her the best life possible. And it was privilege. She's still in my heart, my legacy as I move forward, but it taught me so many things, Candice. If I can do that, I can carry on. So I could either crumble or carry on. And that's what I did. It's nearly it'd be 5 years in September when she passed. So I set the business up a year before she passed. I retrained to counsel while she was still alive, because I knew she was going to die. And I thought, right, I don't really want to go back to corporate all the time. I want to do something more purposeful. So I used my story and my deep despair to actually help others. And I've gone on to help hundreds of people transform. She was a little
Nice.
light, like an earth angel, really. She was constantly in between two worlds, and we thought we were losing her. Then she'd bounce back. And each
Wow.
time we came back from the hospital, we knew it was a bit less time before she would be, gone from us. COVID 2020, she was in intensive care, came out, and we had about another 6 months at home with her. Then she just went, really, her body shut down, and we needed
Did
to
she
get.
get the COVID on top of what she had?
We think she had COVID, but it
Okay.
wasn't. It was just before COVID
Okay, it was before
diagnosis, so I
COVID.
think she did have it, because
Okay.
she was in intensive care. She was very hot, and she had to have a lot of interventions. But we knew that was her time really. The last 6 months she was sort of coming down. So I was trying to map out what we would do when she passed. And we actually had to start from scratch, zero base, because we'd lost our careers because of Ella. But I don't regret it for the world because it gave me so much depth. And I had the career before, and that's what we've been building since she passed. And yeah, I can show my clients that I've walked through really bad things and come out the other side.
I thought that she passed away like when she was a baby. I didn't realize that she still lived 11 years.
Yeah, in a wheelchair. We had to hoist her. We did everything for her. Physio. We were like
Wow.
medical staff. You know,
Did
we
she
were
go to
24/7.
school? Did
Yeah,
she go to
a little
school?
bit, but then she was just too poorly, so we had to
Right.
do homeschooling.
Right.
Loved harp music, so we used to have to bring the world to her when she was too
Right.
poorly. So we did everything for her. So we were like the edge, even though she was profoundly disabled, and had so many medical. We found a light, and she loved like harp music, and she loved sitting in the garden and being by the sea. So we gave her that enrichment, and
Yeah.
it was a very different life, not the happy ending we thought it would be, but then we made the best of those 11 years. Even
Right.
through the
Right.
darkest moments, we brought joy each day.
So, Louise, I've been in the field of education for 30 years. Both I work as a teacher in both regular education and special education, and maybe 40% of my teaching career is working with kids with special needs,
Yeah,
um, autism, everything,
yeah,
Down syndrome, some genetic emotional disorder, CPS, not CPS, like cerebral palsy.
yeah,
And I know how really difficult it is for a family, if, for a family, if they have, I know how joy, the joy
yeah,
that you must have felt, and but at the same time how difficult it is on a daily basis because they're with me only for 6 hours in a day, and we have to really care for them in
yeah,
all aspects, physical, emotional, and spiritual, and emotional,
yeah,
mentally, because of that individual need that they need, right?
yeah.
But I really honor the parents more. When
Oh,
I deal with my students, I really honor and appreciate the parents of my students because it's not easy.
no, it's not.
Like I know how it is to care for them during school, but if you do it on around the clock,
Yeah.
um, I think you're a superwoman. I
Oh,
think I think you're a superwoman, and yes, we say yes, we're parents. We have to do it. No, not just because your parents have to do it. Some parents would give up. Some parents would not give that 100% care, but you did. And like what you said, um, she gave you everything in that 11 years. She tried. She didn't want to give up, and I think she got it from you. Her
yeah.
perseverance, her resilience was from you.
Oh,
And I had a guest maybe two weeks ago, and she also lost a son, and she called it a beautiful death.
yeah,
She said that it was the most devastating experience, death that she encountered, but at the same time, it was the most beautiful death because of that death, she found her path in life.
yeah.
She became who she was. Like you, changed. She changed her career. And now she's empowering women just like you. And
Amazing.
I just wanted to say that I think Ella's was a beautiful death.
Yeah. I mean, even at the end, it was when we were going to the hospice in the ambulance to get her from the hospital,
Right?
to take her off all the life support. The sun was shining down as we went down the pathway.
Oh,
And I sang Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Stars
oh,
in my arms, and she passed over. And it was beautiful, Candice. And I felt really happy to have done that.
I'm sorry, because I have a daughter too. Like, you know,
No,
I'm sorry.
it's good because it shows authenticity, the life cycle of someone. And that's why I'm so passionate about my business, because she's the legacy. And if I can help someone else feel better about their life and
Yeah,
heal and transformed, then I feel like she's carrying on,
Yeah.
in the work I do, all the people I impact.
I remember. I can just because I work with 11-year-old too.
Oh,
So I can see how like they're middle school or turning middle school already.
yeah.
So a lot of life, lot of passion, and I'm sure in her own simple way, she was happy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
vocalize, tap away, and yeah, she had a twinkle in her eye. We
Oh,
had the very special bond. She was a
and
sweet.
I like what you said. You were singing a song to
Yeah,
her as she
when she
passed.
passed, yeah. It's I said
Wow.
it's fine now. You can go to the stars. It's fine. You can
How's
move
your
on.
your daughter, the other daughter now? How old is she?
She's 11, so Ella passed when she was 11, and my other daughter Lois, she's moved
Okay.
into high school in
Yeah.
September, so the same
Oh,
age
okay.
that Ella
No.
passed, really.
That's
Yeah,
good. That's good. That's good. All right. And you know what? Actually, I feel so deeply with what you said because I also, we've been talking about grief, losses. I
yeah,
lost my dad. I
yeah.
lost two brothers. And most recently in 2023, I lost my husband.
Oh, I'm so
And,
sorry.
yeah, thank you. And in those quiet moments, I remembered, like I said, mother, my mom, all right,
Yeah,
because my mom lost her husband and two kids.
yeah.
So I, I really meant what I said that you're a superwoman.
Oh,
It's not easy. Like when you are just doing everything for your daughter, that really tells you how much perseverance and resilience that you have. And
yeah,
I just want to say that thank you for sharing your story because things like that really strengthen us to be better. And I think that's where you are right now. You're here empowering others because of that beautiful story.
yeah,
So thank you for that. Louise, you've been in the wellness space for over 2 decades
yeah,
and you bring over 32 years of business experience to your work. Now, how did walking through trauma and emotional overwhelm change the way you now approach healing? And maybe what have you learned about the kind of support women, and can I include men also?
yeah, yeah.
Men or women?
I can
Yeah.
support men as
you
well. It's not just
okay.
women.
Need.
I support professional
Okay.
males as well.
Okay. I thought it
Um,
was just women. So like
Yeah,
what
no,
like
but
yeah.
predominantly women, but men come to see me
Yeah.
as well. I think it's not just textbook. I think it's, that authenticity.
Yes.
It's really tapping into under the surface level. It's people want to know they're heard and seen and feel safe. You can bring the textbook out, but I think it's really that authenticity, building that relationship with clients to empower them to be
Right.
heard, to like show what is going under the iceberg, under the surface level. And when I worked in corporate, there was, I was wrote an article yesterday for something, and it's all, yes, everything's fine, smiley. We're scared to show our vulnerability because we feel we're going to look like we're failing, but we're
Yeah.
not.
Yes.
And burnout, people pleasing, over giving. It's like women, especially, all the different roles we're juggling. I suppose after Ella, I thought I'm fearless now. Nothing can be worse than that. So that's why
Yes.
I keep going forward and I show my clients, it's okay to show your vulnerability. I've had clients that are burnt out, signed off work, but it's helping them surrender to that, the people pleasing executive who actually can put her tools down and actually start connecting within, really connect with the true self. And like I say, I've trained in corporate. I'm a Reiki master.
Okay.
I did that
Oh.
in 2000. I trained in holistic therapies, aromatherapy, reflexology. Not that I went into that because I
Wow.
went back into corporate, but I've got
Wow.
all that
Okay.
knowledge in the backbone and, like counseling. I'm spiritual and I'm bringing that more into my practice. And that really helped me at the darkest moments after the death. And even in my corporate world, by being spiritual, I hid it at that time, but it helped me get through the burnout, the
Okay.
constant grind, the overgiving, the
Right.
hard work colleagues who, it's quite challenging, isn't it? Working with different people if they're not being very
Right.
nice to you. So I help clients feel more confident and really tap into their inner power, which is under the surface, and those hidden whispers, bringing them
Right.
forward, to really heal and live the life they're meant to have.
Yes. And you know what? we were talking about grief, right? So it's really just a profound teacher. Like I used to think emotional well-being was just rest, journaling, or balance, but it's not. So
No.
when I experienced grief, it just cracked me open in a way nothing else did. So like I told you, my husband passed away, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that, like, I also consider that a beautiful death, because when he passed away, I just looked at myself in the mirror one day, because my husband has always been sick. For 17 years that we were together, he was always been
Oh,
sick
that's
with a heart
hard.
illness. So yes, so it kind of changed me. So my way of burnout, my definition of burnout, is not a corporate burnout, Louise.
No.
My definition of burnout was burnout in that 17 years of, just being
Emotional
my
support.
role, like what you said, like our role
Yeah.
as a mother.
Yeah.
And I was a caretaker too, because like like I would drive him to like doctor specialist, um because like he would function because of meds. He's
Yeah.
meds. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
But
medicine.
that was keeping him alive, and you said you
Yes,
were the superwoman as well, being
right,
his
I know.
support, his advocate, and unconditionally supporting all his needs. So that was a lot on you.
It was, and although it's he walks, he does that, but he really can't go on vacation because he easily gets tired,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. And then we always have to worry about emotions, because like if he gets so like stressed or stuff like that, his defibrillator will set off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had to play multiple roles, because
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like I still wanted to give my family like normal family, even if you know it's not
That was
normal, you
your
know what I
normal.
mean?
That was your normal at the time, reframing it, isn't it?
Yeah. So my way of talking about burnout is my role as,
Yeah.
not the corporate, but this one.
Yeah.
So one day I just woke up and told myself, okay, I don't like what I saw after he passed away. No more. I was just different. I didn't feel beautiful. I felt unmotivated. I felt drained. I felt tired. I felt like, how am I going to provide for my kids being a single mom now if I can't take care of myself?
Yeah.
Just like what you said,
Yeah.
that's where I went for self care, self love, which eventually led to my authenticity. When
Yeah.
I talk about authenticity, um, it's when I was able to just, everything that happened in my life, my struggles, the grief, the loss, or whatever, I just made it me. Like, what I mean? It became my power, it
It's
became my
embodiment,
strength,
isn't it? So it can
right?
embody you, It's that powerful feeling.
And it became my strength. Like I no longer think of those losses as painful. I think of it
No.
as strength. No
Yeah,
more.
exactly.
I
I'm
still
sorry.
cry. We still cry when we talk
Yeah.
about what happened. But I feel like, just like you, authenticity is a big thing in my life. So
It's
I do
powerful.
very. So I do support your cause. I do support your strategy in empowering women. And I really, really hope that women or men can find their true authenticity. It's only when you can feel like alive and passionate
Yeah, the
and just,
joy, filling your joy jar up. Even like all what we've been through, it's so important to keep
yes,
that joy jar filled up, like you say, by the ocean. It's just seeing the flower. It's not cheesy. It keeps you in a good place, doesn't it?
right. And let me talk about two things that you mentioned: people pleasing.
Yeah,
That's a limiting belief that you put on yourself
yeah.
when you have to keep pleasing others, and not knowing that you are not even healed on your own, like your cup is not full, like deep inside you have limiting belief, you have self-doubt about yourself, but you're trying to please others. Oh boy. No, you're not going to end up fixing anything.
No.
You're just going to be in a lot of pain, not just for yourself but for the others, right? So I work on yourself first, because I don't think you can please others if you're not
No.
fully
When you have
aligned with
good
who you are.
relationships, you're more aligned.
Yes.
That authenticity flows through to relationships. You're allowed to say no because you know you're exhausted or you actually need
Yes.
to fill your own cup up for a little bit. But it's like self acceptance. Your needs are just as
Yes.
important. And it's not from a selfish ego point, it's
Yes.
actually self worth, self love, what we need as a person. We've been put on this planet, and it's then we can have better relationships and give more, serve more. But actually, it's allowing ourselves to receive, isn't it? Whether that's stillness, rest, alone time, it's all really helps with the nervous system, to recalibrate and calm ourselves.
Yeah, when I talk about self-care, people don't have, I went on a, it's been a year. and it's a lifelong journey. I don't think self-care is has a limit. Okay, you're on a
No.
6 month limit, you're on a 2 month self-care. No, self-care is lifelong for me. It's
Yeah.
never ending. And people might get like, especially women might get scared that they have to give up something if they have to go on a self-care. No, you can go baby
Yeah.
steps when you go self-care. And when I talk about self-care, Louise, I talk about physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Okay,
Definitely.
what did I do with my physical? I lost weight. I went to the gym every day, went on yoga, did Zumba. That was my physical. I had to buy new makeup, new wardrobe when I started losing weight, and it felt so good.
Yeah.
All right. Emotional. I tried to really let go of people, like those things that I know will trigger me, or those people, or like places, or things that I know I will just go back to my old self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't I'm turning my back on those people. It's just like right now I need to think of me first. So I
Yeah. You've
tried to say
outgrown them.
no. Right? And then some mental things that I did meditation. I've been doing mindfulness, affirmation. And you know what? Those things, you don't need a book, you don't need a course. You can do it right in front of you
Yeah.
right now. I hope that's what people realize, that you don't need your self-care journey towards authenticity could be your own path. You make your own
Of course.
recipe for what self-care and self-love is for you, right?
Yeah.
So I like how your strategy in that. Now, Louise, your care method. We thought that's connect, activate, reflect, and energize.
Yeah.
It's such a soul aligned framework.
Yeah.
Now, how did this method come to life, and why do you believe it resonates so deeply with the women that you serve?
When Ella was still alive, when I was sitting in
Okay.
the hospital bed, next to her, or, hard times, I was thinking, right, how can I connect with my true self to get through this?
Yeah.
So then, once we connect with the problem, like you say, you felt after like the
Yeah.
illness.
Yeah.
So what did you need to connect to? You connected with your true self under the surface level to really start that healing process.
Mhm.
So I suppose it's honoring ourselves. So it's starting that connection. Then the activation is really aligning, embodying that
Mhm.
need and that want to heal, and to actually want that better life, to
Right.
feel different. So the embodiment. So it's you've connected with what the issue is or the situation, and the activation is that self belief. I can do this.
Okay.
Even if it's a little bit of hope, it's starting to instill that, like you say, the baby steps, like your self care stuff, self love. It's building those little bridges. And the more we do, it gets more profound. Then we get to the reflection stage, and that's
Okay.
a powerful pause. That's where it's the acknowledgement of what you need to work through, whether it's grief, burnout, confidence, relationships. It's working through the reflection of what we want to change in our lives and finding ways to do it, whether it's
Okay.
therapy, seeing a coach, going to the ocean, doing a new course, so then it's a really reflective practice. And the energized bit is moving into actually feeling that embodiment of that new person, moving forward like you have and I have, this renewed sense of peace, clarity, intention to live the best life possible.
Right.
So it's just very simple processes, but that's at the backbone of everything I did. And I brought correct. It used to be connect, reflect, energize. Then
Right.
last year I brought the activation in because I thought we need to activate this as well. So then I brought that into the method as well, and it's infused in Galena well-being. The Galena stone is very it's lead, but it's got this silver lining in it. It's really pretty. I haven't got it here at the moment, but it's crinkly and it's really powerful, and that's why it's transformation, but the hidden gem inside, so bring it forward, that silver lining. So that's the method, and it's whether that's through coaching, counseling, heart healing, well-being mentorship. That's what I bring. They're the
Okay.
pillars, but it's showing hope, it's showing anything is possible, and it's helping people break through those barriers. But I think having that intention to start what you're connecting with, then you're activating that hope, that desire to make it change, reflecting on how you're going to do it, whether it's, like I say, through therapy or whatever, then the energize is actually feeling that new embodiment, and actually the authenticity, filling your joy jar up, seeing the change and knowing it's okay, and that continuing that
Right.
cycle, like you say, that personal development, it's continuous till we
Yes.
pass, years down the line, hopefully. But it's not a straight line, is it?
No,
So
it's not
it's
linear.
moving those energies, the connect, activate, reflect,
Right.
energize through our lives. When we have a curveball come our way, right, how am I going to connect with this? How am I going to work through it? So it's helping them organically move forward. And yeah, that's what's at the backbone of Galena. And there's been loads of transformations, like myself, my clients, and it's natural.
Right.
Not
Yes.
textbook. It's feelings, it's depth,
Right.
what's under the surface level, but having that belief to move forward and actually make life better for ourselves.
And I also, what I like what you said, natural. You highlighted the natural.
Yeah.
And what I like about your method and actually coaches nowadays is that they're really empowering people through
Yeah.
a natural way of healing. No medicine, no gadgets, no devices that people tend to like rely on. And then if there's no machine anymore, then you're back doing the same thing over and over again. If you stop the medication, then you're going back to the same habit or the same thing that you're feeling. But what I like with the care method is that you're really going inward, your soul, your soul level.
Yeah.
And sometimes without you healing, without somebody healing from whatever they're experiencing, grief, loss, divorce, addiction, without you truly deeply healing, then you're not healed. You're just, and then you say next time, oh, I'm okay, because you're not feeling that at the moment because you took meds. No, if you really have not healed deeply,
Yeah.
because you didn't go through the process, that what you said, the connection, those realignment, the being energized, then you know what, I just feel that it's a really good way to find yourself again and find your authenticity, because it's going inward. You're really trying to better yourself,
And it's
right?
having the wisdom. We've all got it, but it's tapping into the
Yes.
wisdom, the whispers our true selves telling us, the soul.
Yes.
You don't necessarily have to be really spiritual to connect with these basic needs, these basic things that are going on under the surface, and it's building those, and it's under the iceberg. That's where all the stuff, yeah, I'm
Right.
fine, but we're crying out, actually, no, I'm not okay. So it goes under the surface, then it bubbles, and eventually it just bursts, and we're like,
Yes.
we either break down or we've just had enough. But it's actually decompressing as we're going along
Right.
with those joy moments and things that inspire us and fill us up, like your ocean and the other things you said.
Yes.
It's decompressing, and then
Right.
we're not putting it all under the surface, and then we're listening to our wisdom coming through, and that's the essence, isn't it? It's
Right.
very sort of simple methodology, but it's just back to basics, I think. Listening to
and
your body and your mind, your heart and soul.
And you know, Louise, I deeply believe that we all have the skills. We all have the
Yeah,
skills, the talent, the beauty in us. But because of the life challenges that we go through, because of all the struggles, it goes deep down. We kind of forget it. We put it
yeah,
like we bury it. But once you really self reflect and
yeah.
find what you're good at, we all have something good in us. We all have the
Exactly.
beauty in us,
We do.
right? We do. And like what you said, we don't need another, we don't need to learn anything. We do sometimes if we have to, but
Yeah,
a
learning
lot
is
of
good for
these
the
skills are
soul.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, learning is good and personal development, but it's
Right.
actually it's listening to our wisdom, isn't it? And not external. It's that internal validation. It's
Right.
it's actually listening to ourselves, what we need, and then that enriches our life. Then we have the better relationships, and we're more energized to connect with the world, aren't we?
And I want to highlight also what you said about burnout. Okay.
Yeah,
Why are people reaching that point of burnout? Because they didn't really they didn't really work on themselves.
yeah,
No self love, right?
yeah,
So what happens if there's a defining moment in your life? It could be like what you said, maybe like the job is too hard, or a loss of job, addiction, or divorce, separation. If you at this time is not working on your self-care. All right? You're still the people pleasing, you're still like not taking care of yourself emotionally, physically, mentally. And when you reach that defining moment, you're gonna crush. That's when you're gonna get burned out. That's when you're gonna lose yourself. That's where your life is gonna crumble because you did not prepare for it yet.
No.
So I, like with coaches like you, work on your self-care authenticity now so that you are preparing yourself for that moment when life gets tougher, life gets harder, life becomes more difficult. Because look what happened to me. It came to a point, 17 years, when I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I felt like, hey, this is not the person I was back
Mm.
then. And I don't blame my husband. It's the situation.
It
It's
was
what I
heavy
was,
because
you
it
know
was
what I
on your
mean?
shoulders, you
Right?
had to
So
be carrying
I,
it.
this is just for everybody listening. Work on yourself now.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Work on yourself now. Don't, because a defining moment can also happen right now. You
Yeah.
can have a problem, an issue, a struggle right now. And if you're not fully accepting of yourself, it's going to be harder. It's just going to be harder to face it. Right?
And I think having a robust wellbeing toolkit, that connects with all senses, like you say, you're building that, and it's part of your daily plan, whether it's
Yes.
5 minutes stillness or whether it's
Yes.
exercise or being by the sea or just some green space. It's
Yes.
thinking about what your body needs, heart, mind, and soul, and it's bringing that into your everyday life. So it's not just on a special occasion.
Right
Then
now.
it's automated, then you're not necessarily burning out as much because your needs are being met, and it's that preventative, and the resilience is coming forward. Then when these things come along, these big curveballs, we're more equipped to deal with them because we're looking at our own needs already, and it's not
Yes.
just complete shit. What are we going to do?
Yes, I agree with you. Now, your care method really spoke to me deeply. So when I started reconnecting with myself after all the loss that I experienced, I began activating parts of me, Louise. Um,
Amazing.
it's like I started to activate parts of me that I had forgotten.
And that's amazing because
I
they're lessons
know. And I
going
didn't know I could
forward.
do it on my own. I really didn't know I could do it on my own, but I did it.
Yes.
Yay! So, like, now reflecting on my journey, my faith and my family gave me energy again. So that's like the energy part of what you talked
Yeah.
about. And that's really what inspired me, or what continuously inspires me to create spaces like this.
It's
I want to,
amazing what you're doing.
yeah, right, to energize others through connection and reflection. And this is my way, the
Yeah.
speaking, the podcasting, the hosting. This is my way also to like share to others how they can I want to share with them like how I healed or how I went through all these things so that they know also that, hey, you can do it in your own way. This is my self-care. My
Yeah.
change of career path was my self-care, and this is me reaching my authenticity.
But that's beautiful because you that ripple effect, all the people you're reaching, your
Yes.
listeners, people telling the people about your podcast, and all the people on it, it's going to really help people sitting, at home thinking, how am I going to get through the next day? I can't do this. And we're showing anything is possible, and
Right.
just to keep going for it, reach for your dreams, clear the blocks, and it's just don't let anything define you, even the most impossible of situations.
And you know how nice podcasting is, because nowadays if you go to a hospital in America, okay, it's expensive. Okay, medical care is expensive. We have to go, even if you have insurance, copay is what, $50. Every visit is $50 to like $70, okay? Because, but honestly, all you need to do is turn on a podcast.
Yeah.
Find what resonates with you.
Yeah.
Especially, I have different series every 2 months, all right? And I really make sure that all my series resonate with normal, regular people
Yeah.
from all walks of life, from
Yeah.
different parts of the world. Like you are here talking about burnout, which we are experiencing here in America.
Yeah.
You are here talking about loss, which anyone from all over the world can
Yeah.
experience loss.
Exactly.
And you know what? They don't have to spend anything, any dime. Just
Anything.
no. And to be honest, who we are the best mentors because we actually lived it. We
Yeah.
actually went through it. So I'm just sharing with people that sometimes all you need is find a good podcaster, find a good channel, find a good coach. And you know what? You can find the answer to what you're feeling, to how you're feeling, and instantly you can have hope. Instantly you can find it in yourself to move on. Baby steps. You know,
Yeah.
we're all different with our healing journey, but I'm very sure that you will find an answer with
Yeah.
any of the guests that we feature.
Yeah.
um right, just find someone who can touch your heart. You know, we'll have that space in your heart where, and oh, you know, I like how she's explaining it because we went through it, we
Yeah.
practiced it, we dealt with it, right?
We asked for it, but we found a way to get through it.
And it's
But
not
maybe
easy, life is not
no,
easy. You
it's
know,
not.
we all go through life. Like, it doesn't mean that we went through this and now we're empowering others. It doesn't mean there's not gonna be another trial in
No,
our life. You know
no.
what I mean? But it's just, at least you can get that strategy from others on how they dealt with it,
Yeah,
right?
I think
Now
so.
let's talk about burnout. Burnout is something
Yeah,
you speak to often, but
yeah.
not just as stress or overwork. So I know you mentioned that already, but what are some unseen layers of burnout that many individuals carry that you probably notice in your coaching? And how do you help them recognize the emotional exhaustion that doesn't always show up in obvious ways?
I think we've talked about
Yes.
the people pleasing.
Okay.
If not saying no,
Hmm.
doing that extra bit of piece of work means we'll have to work till 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Um, if we're feeling the imposter syndrome, the inner critic coming in, oh, they'll think I'm weak. So it's burnout can be anywhere, like professional,
Right.
feeling not a good enough
Yep.
mum and not a
Yes.
good partner. If that inner critic is sabotaging us, it can really sort of dampen us. Then we'll end up doing more. But it's regulating the nervous system, thinking actually it's okay to say no, it's okay to stop, come out of that
Love that.
burnout sort of bubble, whether we've got lack of resilience, the imposters saying you're not good enough, it's coming
Yes.
out of it, reflecting and going back into that bubble, or think about what we can put down, who can we speak to
Yes.
make us feel a bit lighter, whether it's a coach, a family member. What can we actually do to start? What little ritual, like some of the things you've talked about, can we start to actually embed that self-worth, feel more in control? I
Yes.
think women feel like we've got to hold it all together. We can't
Okay.
say we're not feeling okay inside. I'm having a bit of a crappy day. Um, but it's okay to say that. It's okay to
Yes.
not feel you have to hold all those balls at one go. Maybe it's putting all the balls down and holding one ball at a time, but that's okay. That's self-acceptance. So it's those baby steps. And
Yes.
the more you do it, then you have your robust well-being toolkit, and then you allow yourself to disconnect from the things that are weighing you down and just say,
Right.
actually, I'm not going to do that report tonight. If it's not life and death, it can wait.
Right.
It's I think we put so much pressure for everything to be perfect. Life isn't perfect, and it's celebrating the imperfections as well. I think it's not everything is a straight line. So if it's a bit more rugged one side and a bit more color this side, it's like, what do I need to do to get out of this situation, or do I need to come out of this situation and go and have some sleep, go for a walk? It's like saying no, I think, is a big
Yes.
thing, and self-acceptance. I did a workshop last week, Burnout to Brilliance, and there were some amazing women in it that they were scared to sort of like put the tools down. They were feeling maybe imposter inside because they didn't want to show they weren't feeling good enough, or they were scared to connect with the brilliance, because that is imposter syndrome was saying you're not good enough, but they are. So there's so many
Yeah.
different layers. It's not just business. It's good enough mum, good enough partner, all these different layers. It's just tapping into, like we said, what's going on under the surface level. What task can you put down for the day?
Okay.
Break it down into small little
Right.
bits. It doesn't have to be all intense. Our grief, we couldn't deal with it all in one day, So each moment, maybe it's what impact you want to give and receive each day, break it down into smaller bits. I think that's
Yes.
more profound than trying to do it all in one go, and be patient with yourself.
I There's so many things that you said that I've been practicing on my own, but I just want to highlight or reflect on the last thing that you said. Plan it, okay? I have a journal that I use because I do. And everybody has a lot of tasks in their daily life,
Yeah.
right? So I really jot it down. It's a small black planet that I carry with me. I really detail what I need to do. But if I reach it, I put a check. If I don't finish it, that's okay. And you know what? One more thing I'm gonna add. Celebrate. Celebrate what you
Yeah.
accomplished,
Yeah.
the little things that you did. If you only did 4 out of the 7 tasks that you did, celebrate it. Go have ice cream. Go for a walk. Go buy yourself a new makeup or buy yourself something nice. And at the same time, gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude is so important. Thank your God, thank your source for
Yeah.
whatever good thing that happened to you. Good thing or bad thing, good thing. Wake up with a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Wake up with gratitude. Believe me, it just changes my day when I wake up happy and smiling. Like you will never see me waking up like cranky. I just found life after everything that happened to me. I've learned to enjoy my life. I've
And
learned to
every moment
appreciate
is
life.
joyful. Some of my clients
Yes.
have a joy jar, and it's putting those things in the joy, little
Yes.
post-its or marbles, so you hear that clink, and they've got that physical representation. If they
I
want to
like
give you,
that.
yeah, it's like a glass jar, put whatever you want in it, and then you've got that physical, whether it's crystals or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a physical representation of all those positive steps you've made. So if you're having a bad day, get your jar out so you can see it all and all those beautiful steps you've made.
Yes.
Whether someone's enriched it, or whether you're grateful for something, or what joy is brought to you that day. It's really, I think it can really help.
Yes. And stop the perfectionism.
Yeah,
It's a form of limiting
perfectionism.
belief.
And I think it's trying to negotiate. So the perfectionism, instead of going for the external perfection, changing the roles and responsibilities. So it's actually looking at your self-care,
Right.
making sure that it's on your team. And instead of you giving 200%, keep some back,
Right.
Candice. Keep 20% back for yourself, your
Right.
self-care. So it's realigning those roles with the perfectionist. So it's looking internal as opposed to external.
I used to be the worst when it comes to perfectionism. Worst. But now I've learned to put quality. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If I
Yeah.
don't get to finish something, I just say I did my best. I've changed.
Exactly. Good
I've
enough's
changed so
okay.
much.
Good
I've
enough
changed
is
so
so
much.
okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I
Um
think it's so important.
and it's not like somebody's looking at me at like how I do things, right? It's really us who's putting perfection.
Yeah. That imposter syndrome. There's always going to be things to do, isn't there? And it's
Right.
just, you don't have to do it all in one go. It's surrendering, think, right, no, the cleaning can wait, that report can wait, and it's just putting it down.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. I love how you highlighted the strategies that we can use right now, starting right
Yeah.
now. It doesn't have to be hard. All right. Now, Galena Wellbeing is more than a brand, it's a mission rooted in compassion and transformation. Now, Louise, what are some of the most powerful transformations you've witnessed through your work, especially
Okay.
in people who've been holding it together for too long? And maybe at this time, talk to us. What is Galena? Talk to us about what it is.
So Galena Wellbeing, it's a personal brand. So we've got the legacy of Ella, but I offer counselling, coaching, wellbeing, mentoring, and heart healing. So I've supported people at their deepest despair. So I supported this one lady. I was supporting her for a few years, and she was suicidal. She didn't want to be here. And last year she got married. So it's such an amazing transformation of actually helping her connect with her true self, clear the demons, clear the blocks, and actually get her to start actually putting herself first. Then she had better relationships. She integrated back to work. She had a purpose she wanted to be around, not just, the other scenario. So that's one powerful lady. But a lot of my clients are warriors. I
Mhm.
support them with, there's people that have transformed through grief, abuse, a little bit of anxiety, hard relationship, bully boss. So I've supported people through so many different layers, end of life, but it's tapping into that inner power to help them really transform. And with the heart healing, it's clearing the emotional wounds that we've put those walls around our heart through past relationships or conditions of worth put on us as children.
Okay.
And it's so profound, it's life changing. So it's all about relationships with me and helping the
Okay.
clients be seen and heard and let them know it's safe. Then that's where the transformation, I think, happens, because they start to feel they're heard, and then they break down the patterns, they break down the limited belief, the unworthiness, the inner critic. And so, I blend that into whatever service I'm offering, but it's all about empowerment and
Okay.
actually transforming. And whether it's a small little step of just feeling less anxious or
Okay.
deep rooted, actually going from suicidal to actually wanting to be around, it's powerful stuff, but it's all
Yeah.
about the people. That's what my brand's all about:
Okay.
authenticity, allowing people to feel safe and secure, to break through. And I do that with execs, all walks of life. And it's a privilege to see people walk further. And then when they say, I don't
Wow.
see you anymore, and I love what I do.
I love that. And it's really incredible to witness how people evolve when they finally put the heavy bags down. You know what I mean? Like look,
Yeah.
like you and I, just like looking at myself, like when we
Yeah.
finally put the heavy bag down, like what a transformation.
Yeah.
So for me, my transformation came when I stopped trying to go back to who I was.
Yeah.
I leaned into the unknown. Like when I went in this journey of like podcasting, speaking, I didn't know where it was going to lead me, like, you know what I mean? But I gave up something that I was doing for 30 years and just started something new because I needed the transformation.
Yeah.
And I leaned into I wrote, like, now I'm writing more, I spoke more and
Amazing.
love deeper. And I talk about love so much because I have a love show. And in that space I found not a new me, but a truer me. And that's when the authenticity lies,
Yeah.
right? We are not just surviving, we are becoming. And that's what I am not just surviving, I'm becoming
You're
better in,
evolving, aren't you?
yeah, in every way possible. I feel like I am evolving, and it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna make mistakes. I'm still gonna make mistakes. I mean, I'm still sometimes gonna make poor choices. But you know what? Even if I do that, it doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
learn from it.
It's
We are gonna,
authenticity again, isn't it? It's living authentically, whatever comes along, and
yes,
living and whatever, whether we go down one path or the other. It's all about growth, isn't it?
and this is not nice. Like when people know that. Growth is something beautiful, like just finding something new, doing something new, finding something new about yourself,
Out of
finding
your comfort
something.
zone.
Right, that I love that. I had one episode in my podcast where I simply talked about comfort zone. And it's so hard. It's easy to say, step out of your comfort zone. But you know how hard it is? You know how hard it is to do that? It is hard.
It is hard, but then you forget. Then I think it's important to look back, because your comfort zone's expanded, like from last year. Look
Yes.
how far you've traveled, and
Yes.
it's acknowledgement, the wins, and actually seeing it's actually expanded, and actually being aware of that, and then honoring that.
Oh, you don't know how I'm stepping. I'm going to be stepping out of my comfort zone this summer. I have a big project that
Amazing.
I'm doing something big. I don't
Oh,
even know how I
good.
came up with it. Like I'm doing
Oh,
something big because I feel like I need to do more now.
yeah.
This is me evolving and growing. I'm going to be doing something big, which is me stepping fully out of my comfort zone, but I'm ready to embrace it. If I fail, I'm going to get back up. I'm going to keep trying. This is a one woman doing a work of like a group, but I'm doing it on my own. I'm kind of a multitasker, but it's me evolving. It's me stepping out of my comfort zone. And I'm just here to tell everybody it's okay. You can find something that new that you want to do. Step out of it. Baby steps, baby step. It doesn't have to be big. You know what I mean? Don't be like me. I jump right away.
But that's it. And you wouldn't fail anyway, Candice. It's a journey, isn't it? It's a
It is a
growth,
journey. You're
and
right.
it's not failing, even if things goes in a different direction.
And I feel like the reason why I'm going to do this big step that I'm making is because I was prepared. Like this what I've been doing on an everyday basis was preparing me to do that something big in
I
my
look
life.
forward to hearing what it is.
Right? Like I'm just joking when I said I'm like I jumped far right away. No, I think every day is a preparation for
Yeah,
anyone. If you want to pursue something, you don't know, you're not aware that you are getting prepared for
no,
something. You know what I mean?
no,
Now, as we wrap up, I always ask my guests to leave a message of hope. That one thing that people will remember you by. For those people who are listening, individuals who feels broken by grief, stuck in silent trauma, or unsure if they can rise again, what's one word of advice or hope would you want to give them?
I think you're not broken.
Okay.
Just be kind and tender to your heart. Life can be messy, but it's like go into it with your full heart
Okay.
and don't let anything knock you down. It's like Candice was saying, just try it and just try and
Yes.
extend that comfort zone and just believe that anything's possible and you can reach for the stars. Candice and I've shown you can do it, but you're not on your own. Reach out to someone and just all those little steps, and you're so enough. And, sending lots of light to you all, and just just try. That's all you can do. But you're not weak, you're not failing, you're so enough, and reach for the stars because anything is possible in life.
That's so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I wish people can realize that, like, these are just not words. These words
No,
can be action. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, you can actually make it happen for you. And again, I want to reiterate what you said to everyone. You are not broken.
you're
You are
not.
brave in your own way. Your cracks are not flaws. They
No,
are windows where the light gets in. And I know because I've lived it. I've buried my dreams and people I love. I've changed path in my life, but I've also resurrected my strength, my purpose, and my light. And I'm sure, like what Louise said, you can also rise because you already are. The fact that
yeah,
you're listening to this podcast is because you are ready for change. I don't think you're listening to a podcast because you're friends with Candice or you're friends with Louise. No, you're listening to this podcast because you want change in your life, and you know that we are just real people sharing our experiences and these life lessons to you, that we actually lived it ourselves. And like what Louise said, don't be afraid to ask. You're not alone.
you're
You're
not.
not alone. Don't be like me. Did this in the beginning my own, because I just was so strong with my, like, yeah, sometimes you can do it alone because you're just so strong with your belief in yourself. But honestly, don't close yourself with to others helping you. It, some, the more help that you get, sometimes the easier life becomes. You know what I mean? um so I want to thank you, Louise,
Thank
for
you.
bringing your sacred story to this space. Your light is a gift. Now, before we go, how can our listeners connect with you? Where can they find your work, your offerings, and Galena well-being? How can they
Okay.
find you?
I'm on social media. I'm on
Okay.
Instagram. If you put Galena Wellbeing in, I can give the link to Candice and we can talk.
Yes,
And,
definitely.
but please reach out. I have free things on my website as well. So if you want a nice little meditation, or if you want to find out more how I can support you, there's lots of different levels that you can come in at, and I'd love to hear from you.
That's beautiful. And for those who also want to connect with me, find me on my social media. I made it easier. Linktree/Candice Ruggiero. So you'll find 5 or 6 or 7 my website there. Everything all about me. Linktree/Candice Ruggiero. And if today's episode touched your heart, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who needs it. Before I wrap up, anything that you wanna say before I end the podcast, Louise?
Just connect, activate, reflect, energize, and enrich your life. You've got this.
I love that. I love, and it's so easy to memorize. Connect. I'm gonna do it. Connect, activate, something
Reflect,
R. Energize. What's your R
yeah,
again? Reconnect.
reflect,
Reconnect.
energize.
Connect, activate. Wait.
Reflect,
Reconnect.
reflect,
I'll
energize.
reflect. I'm gonna fail your. I'm gonna fail your coaching. And Energized. Okay, so
Yeah.
easy. And to be honest, if you're encountering something now, think of that acronym and do it. Wow. What's hard? What's harder than that? And it's just something, and I'm sure Louise has more strategies if you connect with her.
Yeah,
Right.
lots of
So,
wisdom.
as a closing, I want to tell everyone that pain may visit your story, but it doesn't get to write the ending. You are burned. Everybody is. Please accept that everybody has their own struggle, but you are not broken. You may be scarred, but not stopped. And through this series, which I plan to continue because it's really giving a lot of like this hope to a lot of people. Through this series, my hope is to remind you that no matter what you've lost, you can still rise with grace, grit, and a renewed sense of purpose. Keep walking, keep healing, and keep shining. This is Intentional Excellence. Elevate your life. And your life, dear viewers and listeners, is worth elevating. And until the next time, stay strong, stay intentional, and stay excellent. Have a good evening. Have a good day, Louise, and to my viewers. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.